Kia ora, thank you for joining us for this bulletin of today's news. We're sorry we've been unable to bring you this bulletin for technical reasons for a while, but we hope now that normal service has been resumed. In the news today, the Far North Mayor says the region is mourning the loss of the two men killed in a helicopter crash. Wayne Brown says both the helicopter pilot, John de Ridder, and dock worker William McRae, who crashed off the Karikari Peninsula last night, were greatly respected in the community. He says he's personally struggling with the death of his pilot friend. Mr Brown says their children went to the same school together, so they've known each other for several decades, and he was a highly experienced pilot. Aviation experts are heading to Karikari to investigate the helicopter crash. Civil Aviation Association spokeswoman Emma Peel says that investigators are coming from the South Island. She says they had to stop off in Wellington on the way to pick up gear, which means the investigation won't begin until this evening or early tomorrow. Chief Rural Fire Officer Miles Taylor says the fire which the chopper crew were helping fight is under control, but they're still working hard to keep it from spreading any further. Name suppression has been lifted for the second man charged after the killing of Jade Bayliss. The 13-year-old's body was found after a fire in her Christchurch home last month. Jolon Sweeney is charged with being an accessory and criminal harassment. The 40-year-old security guard is alleged to have helped the man who's charged with her murder, Jeremy McLaughlin, to avoid arrest. There are no plans to change NCEA despite the latest criticism. One Auckland maths teacher claims there are big errors in this year's NCEA maths exam. NCEA CEO Karen Putasi says the mistake only applies to the excellence question in one exam. She says the system does work and it's what other countries will turn to in the future. Further confirmation of a clear economic win during the Rugby World Cup, the Reserve Bank's credit card figures show purchases in New Zealand on overseas issued cards for October rose by 23% from the same time last year to $319 million. Porirua police are investigating an incident where a man was stabbed in the back with a knife. The stabbing occurred in Cannons Creek late last night and left the 36-year-old victim in hospital with internal injuries. He's now in a stable condition and his injuries aren't life-threatening. A checklist used to guide the wounded Apollo 13 spacecraft home after an explosion on the way to the moon has sold at an auction in Texas for $500,000. The checklist booklet contains handwritten calculations by Commander James Lovell to determine the spacecraft's angle of descent back to Earth and other notes. Apollo 13 was supposed to be the third mission to land on the moon, but an oxygen tank exploded 2 days after its April 1970 launch. The BBC has apologised after presenter Jeremy Clarkson said that public servants who were taking part in a 24-hour walkout should be shot. The state broadcaster described the comments as a misjudged attempt at comedy. British unions claim that up to 2 million public sector workers walked out over changes to their pensions. And that's all from me. Thanks for watching. Do join us again soon. Ka kite anō.